Thanks for joining us at Marathon Stadium for Sunday football. Final round of the Premiership. Andrew Voss, Peter Sterling, Steve Roach and Paul Harrigan with you this afternoon. And so much at stake for the two teams, the Roosters and the Knights. The winner qualifies for the top four and they get a home final the first week of the playoffs. And the Roosters in their predominantly white strip today. Their side, Appo in for Cleary, Ellsgood, Barnett, Singh, Miles, Fittler and Lamb, Ricketson, Barnhill, Fletcher, Logan, Benetti and Pongia. Phil Gould as coach.
And he's called on Graham Appo to do the job at fullback. Former Canberra and Adelaide player, been in wonderful form in First Division, and he is a goal kicker as well, and he should take over that responsibility this afternoon.
There are a few injury doubts hanging over the heads of a number of these Roosters players coming into the match. There was some speculation if Canterbury had have won on Friday night that this Roosters side would be drastically changed for today. And now the Knights, led out by Tony Butterfield. No man has played more games in the red and blue than Tony Butterfield, and he leads their campaign for this year's finals. And the Knights too have a change to their lineup. No Robbie O'Davis today, still battling a knee problem. And Owen Craigie fills in as custodian. Albert, Gidley, Hughes, Moody, the halves, Matthew and Andrew Johns. And the forwards, Peden, Rudder, Shields is back. O'Brien, Baderas, Butterfield. Warren Ryan, coach of the Newcastle Knights.
And such a talented player is Owen Craigie. We saw that a fortnight ago. Normally a centre. We've seen him play that way in the past couple of seasons. At fullback this afternoon, and they'll be looking for performance that he came up with 2 weeks ago against the St George Illawarra side, where he was named our man of the match.
And Steve Roach so fitting for this match, a real finals atmosphere.
I love the atmosphere down here. Newcastle crowd, the pride of the league. Both sides would be disappointed with their efforts last week and be looking for good performances today, leading into the semis. Sydney City with Fletcher past fit, in my opinion, will win. 20 degrees, a moderate nor'easter. The Knights have won the toss and are running left to right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, will you please stand for the national anthem?
The national anthem today is sung here at Marathon Stadium by a local from Newcastle, Tracy Burke.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
And it's a fair nor'easter that the Roosters find themselves running into for this first half. Bill Harrigan in charge of this match. Real battle for the referees for the top spot as well at the moment. Harrigan, Clark, Mander. One would think the leading three. We are underway and Clinton O'Brien comes back for the Knights. Celebrated re-signing with the Knights this week, a 3-year contract, rewarded for some fine performances this year. And now Peden over the 20-metre line, got past Benetti. Newcastle, Baderas up for Butterfield, and the captain, some heavy combat there with Ricketson. They start the attack and O'Brien gets a second touch. Short of halfway, Paul Harrigan joins us today. Preparation for the Knights after that 42-0 loss to Auckland. How was it?
It was a bit slow on the start of the week. Tuesday and Wednesday, the boys were a bit shell-shocked, but I was there on Thursday and Friday morning. The confidence picked up, and today is such a large occasion for us. I think you'll see a great effort from Newcastle.
And you could see the strength of the breeze behind that kick from Andrew Johns. He was just inside his 40, looking for the 20-metre line down at the other end. In goal, and now the Roosters, 29 out in their own line with Richie Barnett out of dummy half.
Gidley, the man with the headband on for Newcastle today. Now Robert Miles gets over the 40-metre line. He is one of their goal-kicking options in this Sydney City side, along with Appo now in the lineup. Here's Pongia offloading quickly for Logan. 5 metres inside Newcastle's half. Winner makes it to the top 4 after the defeat of Canterbury on Friday night to Brisbane. Fittler's kick is placed for the corner. Sits up nicely there for Craigie. There's 4 chasers. And Ricketson and Singer the tacklers. Newcastle come away with Moody. A player who hasn't re-signed. In fact, he's Parramatta bound next season. Blindside shot here for Shields. Crowd not happy that a few of the Roosters players inside the 10. Harrigan at the moment's got them back probably 11 or 12 metres. O'Brien comes up. You'll get an indication here. Harrigan's got them back on halfway and they're playing it short of the 40-metre line. And Andrew Johns' kick. This could be a 40-20. It is very close for Andrew Johns.
I think it's just missed, but the touch judge disagrees. He's taking it 19 metres from the line. Inch perfect from Andrew Johns.
Well, he's kicked it from 35 out, but here's the finish in the shadows. Physically impossible, one would say, for a touch judge a long way up to say 100% certain, but we have to live with that decision.
And that's why I think, Andrew, we probably should have some sort of flag or stick on the 20-metre line. It might help in those instances.
What a chance then for the Knights with Gidley. You'll notice Matthew Johns has got the headgear on. He's playing under the sufferance. Well, he's got the facial fracture. He's still nursing a problem with his hand. He suffered a fractured hand very early in the season, round 3 in fact. Shields hasn't missed a game though, Matthew Johns, all year. And Newcastle are on the attack, 10 metres out. Full house here at Marathon Stadium, and Matthews steps off the left. Oh, Matthew Johns! What a try to start the game from the number 6 for Newcastle. 4-0 to the Knights.
And that man on screen is a player who was expected to miss this game with that fracture in the cheek. But he's apart from being wonderfully talented and gifted, he's also as tough as they come. He's taken on the responsibility of running the football straight through the tackle of Brian Fletcher. Logan went low, Appo arrived late, and a great start, Matthew Johns, who I think has had a good a season as his brother in '99.
That was a great try, and just look at the strength of him. He's got great left feet, and I tell you, I know that cheekbone has a 15% weakness in it. He's turned around, as Sturlo said, wearing the headgear, and I'll tell you what, it's a low headgear too, but he's due for a big game, an important part for the Newcastle Knights. Great try, and here comes his brother for a big one.
Matthew, if he had any confidence doubts going into the match because of that injury, not showing them. And as the Chief says, the focus now on his brother. Andrew Johns, 20 metres in from touch and 15 out. And he liked that start. Newcastle fans, 6-0 to the Knights over the Roosters in Sunday football.
And the conversion successful to Andrew Johns. Newcastle across night 6, the Roosters 0.
Welcome to our New Zealand viewers again today. Final round of the Premiership.
Newcastle wine, dine and stay. Newcastle's finest, the Radisson.
Now Graham Appo restarts play with the left boot. First game in the top grade this year. Clinton O'Brien, another hit up. And short of the 20-metre line, Newcastle with this big breeze behind them. Peden. He changed his run right at the finish there, and it took a few metres off as well. And now with Badderas, short of the 30-metre line. We'll cover the scenarios with victories for either side through the match as Matthew Johns fires out for Gidley. There's pressure on the Roosters here. Miles had dropped back and Albert steals 20 metres for Newcastle. This is an entertaining start.
Yeah, that's an ominous sign for Newcastle. Usually don't look to spread early in the set, and they've done it, and they're already starting to offload. Things are looking good.
Matthew Johns, oh, he collects one over the top, Pongi out, and Benetti's there. Fittler was low. Last tackle. Andrew Johns. And there's a gap for Andrew to dribble the kick through, and then again from Andrew Johns. It bounces up and intercept. Adrian Lamb gets between Badderas, who was trailing through. In fact, it was Butterfield who was inside.
Don't worry about Butterfield. Joey Johns had about 6 men in support on the left side. Beautiful skills here. Man United stuff once again. Toes it through, and on the left-hand side, honestly, there was a 5-man overlap.
Well, Steve Roach on the sideline. This start from Newcastle is right on the money.
Yeah, it's been a good start, hasn't it? Always a good start when you get the first try. But one bloke I'd like to mention too and get the opinion of Chief Peter Shields. He adds that second dimension for this Newcastle Knights side with his offloading ability. He's already done it twice early in the match.
Certainly does, Blocker. We've been waiting for him for a while. He's been injured. He's still got a bit of a crook knee, but he'll have a big game today, and certainly in the semi-finals we'll be looking to him for that, if anything.
Fitt cursed himself having kicked then. He wasn't happy with it. It went down the throat of Owen Craigie. And now Matthew Gidley.
And speaking of kicks, Andrew, such an important 40-20 there from Andrew Johns. He is actually the best exponent of that rule this season. He's been successful on 5 occasions. And it's little things like that can change the course of a game. I'm sure it won't be the first one he looks for this afternoon.
And also, Sturlo, Newcastle are the leading side as far as kicks for tries. It's really an important part of their game.
Andrew Johns, 40 metres out from the Roosters line. Now Gidley, stepping almost through the tackle there of Barnett. Good battle in the centres, both sides of the park today. It was Singh on the right defence for the Roosters and Barnett on the left against Hughes and Gidley. This ball swirling and bounces back, and Little Lamb is there again for Sydney City. And they start just outside their 20, and now with Matt Singh. Roosters, of course, beaten last Sunday by St George Illawarra when they led by 10 points after half-time and looked to be in control. Newcastle, as we've mentioned, hammered by Auckland 42-0. Not the sort of scoreline you expect 2 weeks out from the finals. And here's Pongia. Straight run to the Newcastle 40-metre line. And fifth tackle. Lamb calling on the left, and with it, Fittler on his outside and kicking. Gets it to the corner. Craigie. Comfortably. 15 out.
Well, Andrew, in the last month, both these sides form nothing really to write home about. In fact, they've lost 3 of their last 5. They are very, very close in a number of aspects, and they've played 15 head-to-heads. And out of those 15, there have been 2 draws, which is quite a large percentage.
And here's Butterfield passing up for Moody, almost away. Ellsgood trapped him, but only just. There was a little bit of room down that eastern touchline. And Johns kicks from inside the 40 again. Miles is well back. In fact, he was waiting on the 20-metre line that time, Robert Miles. Could be in for a busy afternoon. Wrapped up there by Peden. And here is Appo, the head-to-head record between these two clubs. 8 of 15 for Newcastle. And the Newcastle Knights home record, they've lost only twice here this year. But to counter that, the Roosters, an excellent away from home record. They've lost only 3 games away from home this year. And that's as good as any team in the league. Fletcher, 35 metres out, looking for a quick play of the ball. Harrigan put out a call saying you must stand up before you put the ball down on the ground to play it. Albert, that is good. That is a good take in these conditions, and then away from 2. Barnhill gets in. Excellent play from Darren Albert. Into the tackle there of Hood. Gold Coast Junior in his Rooster side. Here's a penalty for inside the 10 from Bill Harrigan. And Matthew Johns takes off again and runs to Graham Appo.
Yeah, I'm surprised he did take the quick tap there, Matthew Johns, with his big bruise behind. They could have been down near the 10-metre line with 6 up their sleeve.
Nick O'Brien outside the 20. Medeiros gets them to the right. Andrew Johns then passing across for Gidley. Up for Albert. Gidley again standing in the tackle of Barnett. He's shaded Barnett so far, Matthew Gidley, with plenty of possession. Here is Fletcher, one of their heroes from the 97 grand final. They're 5 metres out. They could be headed there again this year. Matthew Johns, inside ball with Hughes, and then it comes up for Craigie. Enterprising play from Newcastle. Really asking some questions of the Roosters' defence. Now Craigie, he's lost it. Really mixing it up, Chief, this Newcastle attack.
Yeah, they certainly are. Serlo's probably right. In usual aspects, we probably would go for the 2 points, but it just goes to show how confident they are today. They're looking to throw the ball around and get plenty of offloads.
And Roosters with Ellsgood. Slinging up now the Sydney City side, Pongia. Newcastle has had the field position. Last time these two sides met was in the first week of the finals last year. story to tell in that match, 26-15, but Newcastle led 15-0 at half-time. And here's Appo kicking from halfway. He will find touch, a 30-metre gain, and under these conditions, that wasn't such a bad set of 6 from Sydney City.
And a pretty good kick there from Graham Appo, trying to keep the ball under the breeze, and did that successfully. But with Andrew Johns, making his intentions clear with his kicking game, forcing Miles back, I'm sure that we will see them take the option of running the football on the last tackle on a couple of occasions, take advantage of the fact that the Roosters wingers have been forced back.
Just expanding on that point, the last time these clubs met, a lot has been made of Parramatta's capitulation in the finals last year to Canterbury, but I think Newcastle's got a few demons to exercise on what happened last year. They led the Roosters by 15 and then they led Canterbury by 16 and got run down in both matches. There's the possession. Newcastle heavily weighted their way. Now they've lost it, so a chance comes up the way of Sydney City in great position. 25 metres out. Benetti slips into dummy half. There is Lamb. Fittler wants it. He gets it now. Fittler 10 metres out and back for Appo. He is 5 out. Roosters on the boil, trailing by 6 points to 0. And it comes up for Lamb. A step and almost brushed away from Rudder.
Come on, jump up!
Gee, looked like he only clipped him, but Lamb's in a bit of strife. He wouldn't stay down at this end of the field with his side on the attack if he wasn't injured.
Then what about how dangerous he is when he runs laterally across there? He's that quick, as you can just see here. He just extrudes gaps. And that hit just seemed to be across the chin. Must have hit him right on the button because he looks to be knocked out.
Troubles for the Sydney City halfback. 6-0 in Sunday football. The Knights over the Roosters. It appears to be okay. 13 minutes gone. The recovery phase still on here for Adrian Lamb. And the attack continues now. Oh, Fletcher, a juggle, and only just managed to gather it in. Back infield, this is Hood. He strode straight over the top there. I think it was Medeiros who missed the tackle. Some problems. In fact, it was Lomax, I think, who's on now for Newcastle. There's Fittler, and the door just opens for Brad Fittler to score. Easy for the Roosters captain. 6-4.
He's a wonderful player, Brad Fittler, especially when he takes on the defensive line. This time the quality of the pass was important in the try. Andrew Johns particularly upset with Troy Fletcher. This was the loss of the football from Billy Peden, allowing the Roosters to stay on the attack. Brian Fletcher wrestled to the ground. Let's just have a look at the defensive line. Lamb putting it on to Brad Fittler. And as I said, Andrew Johns believed that Troy Fletcher should have made the tackle.
As you can see here, Adrian Lamb again, that little lateral movement with speed puts Andrew Johns in two minds. It was probably Joey's tackle to come in on Brad Fittler there, but his line was too good, too acute, and he's a fine athlete going over for a great try.
Not too many easier than that in this pressure situation. Fittler just strode through. And Appo, first game in the top grade this year, had a couple of big bags last year for Adelaide, scored 24 points in a match on 2 occasions. Graham Appo, having been released by the Canberra Raiders. His first kick is successful, and Steve Roach, it's all level at 6-all.
Well, you've got to say that's a very positive start for the Roosters too. That's the first time that they ventured down into that 20. Again, it's Adrian Lamb showing the ball, and Fittler, doesn't he run into the gaps well? He scores right under the post. Good try there too. Here's the high tackle again. And you know, I'm a little bit critical about this from Adrian Lamb. I know it didn't really look that much. You've got to get your feet and play the ball and then go down. He could have hampered him and give Newcastle a little bit of a rest in defence.
Jason Moody was the player who gets us back underway, and Pongia comes back and is hammered. Pongia loses the ball on the two-man tackle. They've regathered the Roosters. What a tackle on Quentin Pongia. And again the Knights, they come in. Inspired stuff from Newcastle.
Danny Medeiros, two of the best tackles I've seen in a long time.
He's just thankfully outside their 20 now. With Barnett. Fletcher over the top. They said, or Pongia wants more. He cops the treatment again.
Well, that's just great defence. 5 tackles, 32 out. And you know that Fittler can't pick up a whole lot of distance here.
Oh, he's got it bouncing like a rubber ball over Darren Albert's head. Let's watch the tackle on Quentin Ponga from the restart. It's like the run-up on the long jump, and when he gets to the pit, absolutely hammered. But Badderas, it was all him. And this kick from Fittler, just a bounce over Albert's head. Perfectly placed. 6-all. Newcastle with it, Gidley. Gidley, well, the headband has moved up a little higher than what it should be. Simpson on for Butterfield. Newcastle with Lomax. Here is Butterfield. 40 metres out from the Sydney City line. Fletcher there in defence. Big doubts on Brian Fletcher going into this match. Andrew Johns. But with so much at stake, you do take a few risks at this end of the season. Matthew Johns. And here's a high one for Appo to contend with. Back over the crossbar. Allowed to bounce and Appo gets to it. Very risky. He'll get back to the field of play and he dives for cover. Was that voluntary, some might say? Diving at the feet of Matthew Gidley. And in comes Barnett. Well, he's allowed to dive forward, but if no one gets a hand to him, well, he has to get up and keep running, doesn't he? That's what he does here. This is smart work to go to ground. Follow up from the Newcastle forwards, and that incurred a penalty there.
And wasn't that a great kick by Matthew Johns in these conditions? It was a shonky bomb. Graham Appo was 6s and 7s to catch that. It was a great kick.
Quite coincidental to see Graham Appo dive like that, with comments made by his coach Phil Gould during the week.
Logan over the 40. Completion rate's good from both teams. And now Rigon, excellent last week, in particular the first half against St George Illawarra. He was probably as good as any player on the field for the first 40. And he really did enjoy getting a start in the side last week. It was rare. Fletcher again, there's a two-man tackle. And again, it's Badderas who's putting in the heavy work. Fittler dumps that one back for Ricketson. Fletcher got him low. Benetti to the left with Hood. He's looking for work and offloads for Lamb. Craigie is very deep. Lamb is cut down from behind a metre out. Albert got him, but Craigie was back on the goal line. And from dummy half they go with Rigon. And that is a changeover for Sydney City.
Well, not a great option there from Shane Rigon. A good one if he'd scored. Ordinary one with the fact that he's now handed the football over. Beautiful pass here from Dallas Hood. He is a talent. And Adrian Lamb, well, he had too much space to move in. Owen Craigie was way too deep, especially considering the opposition kicking into the breeze.
Steve Roach, Dallas Hood, a player we saw play schoolboy football some 5 seasons ago. That was a genuine offload from Dallas.
Yeah, we were also very impressed with him that long ago too, so obviously Sydney City have seen the talent there. He's good on his feet too, don't worry about the offload. He stepped in between in that gap.
Ooh, scrappy play there, block from Newcastle, and Hughes is hit by Ellsgood. They're backpedaling here, Newcastle. Shields. They need a couple of straight up the middle plays to get him outside the 20. Hughes wrestles his way to that mark. With Andrew Johns. Vocal crowd as always at Marathon Stadium. And last tackle. This has been good defence from the Roosters, and now a stumble from Andrew Johns, and regathers his feet. Quite remarkable to get the kick in down to the 20. But perhaps a swing there in that set of 6 that the Roosters are now a shade on top. Try a piece. Winner makes the top 4. In fact, if we assume Parramatta beat South Sydney this afternoon, the winner will be in action again next Friday night. And that would be against Canterbury.
And you would tend to think that a home quarter-final would be more important to Newcastle. Fittler now kicking deliberately for his outside men, led by Jack Ellsgood. It'll go into touch. Craigie allows it to do so.
Touch. Yep.
But really, Sydney City playing at the Sydney Football Stadium, you know, so many teams are used to playing there. For Newcastle, they've won 9 of 11 here this season and won their last 8 in a row.
I don't think the Bulldogs would be too keen to head up here on Friday night. Ivan Cleary, the Roosters will be hoping will be right for next week. He was selected in the side, but those close to the camp weren't too hopeful of him making an appearance today, and Hughes almost loses it and nails away. What genius qualities from Mark Hughes. Here comes the foot race. It's Miles one side, Elsgood the other. Miles gets him. 25 metres out. Exciting play from Mark Hughes. Now Matthew Johns. Roosters still getting onside. It comes out for Craigie, then for Albert. Newcastle. Albert gets to the corner. Photo finish there for Newcastle. What scramble from the Roosters.
Well, I think they bombed a try there, Newcastle. There was no reason to throw a cutout pass to Darren Albert. Goes through the hands, and I think that he scores. I've got grave doubts that he's been able to get the football down here before being taken over the sideline. Let's have a look at it. He's hit. Well, that doesn't show us definitively, but I still think that we'll see a red light reaching to try and get the football down. Well, is the elbow on the line before the football goes down? I tend to think it is.
Chief, this is an example of really a ref's call. It has to go back to ref and linesman if the video referee can't get a conclusive shot. There's Albert.
Oh, I tell you, that's as close as it comes. It will be hard for the video referee. And hasn't this game been going backwards and forth? Sydney City were just on top a couple of sets ago. Newcastle turned it around with just about 100-metre. I think it's a try. The line
say conclusively. Sterlo, there's no doubt Fittler takes the corner post.
Let's have a look. This might be the best shot of all.
Is that grounded now?
I think so. I think that is the one shot that may suggest that it could be a green light. I'd hate to be making the decision. It's that close, and really all of the shots, as Andrew says, aren't conclusive. And my understanding, if that is the case, it goes back to the referee. Now, whether Bill Harrigan's in any position to call on that, I don't know.
I think they're going to give it the green light. They have. The video referee, Ian Parnaby, says 4-pointer. It ends up quite remarkable. Darren Albert forcing his way over.
And put it down to Mark Hughes and this amazing break. It looked as though he was about to lose the football. He juggled it. That may have put the defence off. But he was able to race 75 metres. And Newcastle in the next play, I really think that Owen Craigie should have gone through to Matt Gidley, who would have drawn the outside men and given Albert an easier run. But the Speedster somehow manages to get the ball down to the video referees.
It was a great try. And Darren Albert, he knows how to find the line. He's worked inside. Good bit of strength there. Brad Fittler tried to get him over, but just couldn't. But yeah, that cutout pass probably wasn't needed. But this guy, he can do anything. He's probably one of the best, I think, one of the best wingers at finishing off and scoring the try. Newcastle had plenty of options. Apart from that, on the left-hand side, there was no one there too, but they're lucky to get that try and certainly put them back on top.
And Darren Albert, another of those three players who re-signed with the Newcastle Knights during the week, along with Shields and Clinton O'Brien. Don't forget McDougall will be back in the lineup shortly.
Andrew Johns from the sideline hasn't got this one away well. But the Knights are back in front in this race for the top four. 10-6 over the Roosters.
Planet Fitness, more than just a gym. Planet Fitness is making fitness fun.
15 tries for the season for Darren Albert. In just one game last year.
Give a big welcome to all the representatives of the major sponsors of the Knights. Impulse Airlines.
Just a couple of weeks ago against the Dragons.
Impulse employs 160 people in the Hyundai. That figure is soon to get a whole lot bigger.
A matches sellout this at Marathon.
The major sponsors of the Newcastle Knights.
Graham Mappo at the centre of halfway. 10-6 to the Knights. That's an awkward bounce, and getting there is Craigie. Just to clear up the try, Chief, having watched the replays, you had no doubts, a 4-pointer?
Oh, yeah, no doubts at all.
No doubts at all. I don't think the yellow bulb was in the ref's call. They never use it. And tackled there is Grief. Inside their own 40, Rudder takes off from dummy half, running it Benetti and Barnhill. David Barnhill, another player who was in serious doubt coming into this match. Andrew Johns has had some trouble with his footing today. Craigie now. Again, Miles had dropped back. in anticipation of a 40-20. Well, somehow Gidley got it away for Andrew Johns. He's headed across field, then throws that looping ball over the top. Mark Hughes, they open up on the left side. The attack on the right didn't work, maybe the left will. Mark Hughes, 30 metres out. Great play again from Newcastle. Andrew Johns, last tackle. Long pass to the right this time. And Fletcher, inside for Matthew Johns. The flick is put down. It was put down by Grief.
Well, look, I marvel at the talents of plenty of these Newcastle players, but I really don't think that was an occasion that a flick pass was needed. A little bit too flamboyant for the situation as Bailey takes the ball forward. Matthew Johns on the inside. He could have just as easily thrown an orthodox left pass to the left, obviously.
Up come the Roosters, Ricketson. Got past Fletcher there. Actually claimed by Grief. This is the 5th tackle, and Fittler's kick. Attacking that wing of Darren Albert. He wants no part of it, Darren. He doesn't want to get anywhere near it. And over the sideline again.
Yeah, certainly Warren Ryan would be disappointed with that last set of 6 from Newcastle. Great kick there from Freddie. Good pressure put on there, but because they just need to consolidate, like Sterlo said, and I think that's been Newcastle's biggest fault in different games during the year, where they score a try, relax a little bit, or try to force those balls and just lose the pressure that they've tried to gain. Just need to settle down a little bit.
Johnny Butterfield just waiting for the all clear to head back out there. Here's Albert. In fact, the entire front row about to come back. Oh, that was awkward. That.
He did lift him.
Well, here Bill Harrigan. Okay, not on report Richie Barnett, but caution there for lifting. You'll be the judge of this. Ooh. Low. Gee, you couldn't say Fletcher played much part in it, Sterlo. It was all the doing there of Richie Barnett.
No, it actually did look worse on replay. The referee's got the tackle for lifting past the horizontal. The referee penalty deemed to be enough as Fletcher. Looked by Rigon.
Entire starting front row back out there. Oh, Badeiras. Oh, what was that? Just dribbled along the ground, the pass from dummy half. And it went to the tallest man on the field, Peter Shields.
I love the way when players throw a pass like that, they immediately look at their hands as though it's not my fault, it's their fault.
Newcastle are with it. 45 metres out from the Roosters line. 2 tries to 1 they've scored so far in this first half. They've got a big breeze at their back. Nor'easter blowing here at Marathon Stadium. And once already they've exploited a 40-20 in this match. Andrew Johns, quick hands for Matthew. Inside for Craigie. 25 out, Lamb and Barnhill there. Badeiras, the chip over the head of Appo. This ball looks just a little too deep. In fact, the Roosters have carried it dead, have they? No. Harrigan says, come back to the 20.
Well, great play again from Newcastle, but again, I question the option at the end of kicking the football. It's a great move if you score a try from it, but now I doubt very much that Danny Badeiras was going to have the pace to get there. Plenty of cover from the Roosters. Elsgood, well, he's deemed not to have played at it, and it wasn't the last tackle.
Three rushed in there at Robert Miles when he got the ball. Fittler, then Fletcher. 2 of the internationals in this Roosters lineup. Fletcher carries a couple up to the 40-metre line. Steve Simpson out there, number 19. He's the youngest player in this Newcastle squad, still a teenager. This is back for Craigie. Appo is sprinting down on the chase. So too Barnett. This time Craigie gets to the field of play and had to burrow low to get there. Albert. So Newcastle hemmed inside their 10, and any number of players coming back onside. Gidley and wider with Moody. Ricketson has him. That's 3 tackles, and they're still on their 10-metre line. Slow to clear some of the Roosters players. Gidley there, fend on Lamb.
But it was still a good play to go to the centre of the field with the wide pass from Gidley, because it gives you 2 avenues of attack, so the defence cannot hem you in, really jam up on you. That's the last tackle now, 28 out. Andrew Johns is going to have time to kick this one, and gets away a fairly good one over the 30-metre line.
Well, he went for the centre of the park, and Appo on the fingertips. This is big pressure on Graham Appo. First grade game for the year. Andrew Johns now in some distress, feeling for the left shoulder. And of course he's playing on with a serious groin injury that will require surgery at the end of the year as Elsgood gets to halfway. We'll keep an eye on Andrew Johns.
I was going to say, Graham Appo, I'm going to give him a rap today. I think he's had a great game. He's had 4 hit-ups already and defended well and kicked well too. He's going really good.
It's a long way from playing for the Adelaide Rams, that's for sure. At Marathon Stadium, Fittler, in it comes for Barnett, away from Andrew Johns and tackled by Albert. Rudder got a fingertip there as well. Rigon, Lamb, 10 metres out, he wants the switch. It bounces up and Miles puts it down. And it will be a Newcastle scrum fee, as they were just applying some heat there to Newcastle, the Roosters. It's a tough one for Robert Miles. Nathan Wood into the centre of the scrum.
Hold it back, hold, Matt, hold.
Andrew Johns with Craigie. Chief, we assume that Robbie O'Davis would be right for next week?
Yeah, I think so. It is a hamstring, and I was talking to Robbie before the game, and he's very anxious. He'll definitely be back next week.
Saw Paul Langmack there on the sideline, as vocal off the field as he was on. Newcastle now up and over the 30-metre line with O'Brien. Former Queensland Origin player, 15 short of halfway. Newcastle up by 4. Approaching the 30-minute mark. Here is Rudder. They lock up the ball there. It was Nat Wood in 16. 5th tackle. Miles has dropped back deep. Andrew Johns has got a few options. First to run, then puts the low kick in. Miles a clean pick up that time. Running back and straight past Shields, then past Gidley. Miles back to the 40. Here's Lamb and Fittler. Now Barnett taking on Albert on the outside. Barnett over the sideline, in fact lost the ball. And Newcastle come away with it. Barnett took a chance and lost.
I think they're looking to go for a shift now. They've got him on numbers.
Matthew Johns runs up, slipped it around the corner into the knees, and back comes Matt Singh. Here is Lamb. Lamb gets up to halfway. Back for Appo. They may not catch him. Appo from behind gets the pass back for Singh. Magical play from the Roosters. Absolute magic from Graham Appo and Matt Singh. 10-all.
A tremendous counter-attack there from the Roosters. They will be in front in a moment. And there was a couple of mistakes made. Firstly, this one from the Roosters going the blind side with Barnett over the sideline, and then Matthew Johns forcing a pass to the left-hand side of the field. And they didn't react particularly well, the Knights, when this ball went to ground. A lot of players stood around, watched it. In fact, if Elsgood had got the pass on the right-hand side immediately, he'd have probably scored. But as soon as Andrew said that Appo wouldn't be caught, Moody tackled him. And great work from Matt Singh to be there and support some of the crowd here believing the last pass may have been suspect.
Well, Graham Appo, I'll give him a rap before. He's had a tremendous game. Great speed. Now, this pass was a little bit dubious, but nonetheless, it is a try. And this game has been a funny one. It's been 6s and 7s. Newcastle just getting the ascendancy, getting on top, and then it turns around, and Sydney City do the same. 8 minutes to go with a kick to come. Make it very interesting indeed.
That kick right in front for Appo. Well, he's like a bolt out of the blue, really. He's suddenly a key player in all their finals campaign, Graham Appo. He gets his chance. He may be hard to shift from the side. Queensland upon a berth. Graham Appo. And successful with a kick. Roosters in front for the first time in the match at 12-10. Steve Roach.
Well, I've got to say that the Knights are trying to be too flamboyant with the football. They'd be better off playing the percentages. This is what happens when you haven't got, well, when the Sydney City have got so much speed. Appo, who makes a 50-metre break. Watch the Fenn come out. That's beautiful stuff. The pass, as Chief mentioned, a little bit dubious. And there's to try to sing. He's a great support player.
Andrew Johns restarts. Ricketson allows it to go through. Pongia might be just checking who he runs at this time. Gets it to the 20. And it was Baderas who got there first again. Now Benetti hasn't had too many runs from dummy half today. He's been a durable player for the Roosters this year. Hasn't missed a game. And now Dallas Wood over the 30-metre line. Lamb, Fittler. This time it's the Roosters with the inside ball. Ricketson forced back. And lose a few metres at the end there. Hood wants another run. He's having probably his best impact of the season off the bench, Dallas Hood. And last play here with Appo kicking from outside the 40 and straight down the centre. One bounce to Craigie. So Owen Craigie comes back, running away from Fletcher. And Ricketson makes the tackle. Ricketson 15 tackles, Fletcher 14, Bonetti 14, the leading three for the Roosters. Away goes Moody. Moody went straight through the tackle of Hood, then straight past Appo, claimed from behind by Elsgood.
It's a shame that he couldn't get the ball into his right arm to keep the left free to fend. Chance on the right, they've got numbers. O'Brien cut out. Oh, Matthew Johns claimed.
And claimed it was by Barnett. 5 metres out. One-handed pick-up from Badderas. He can't offload in front of the Roosters' posts. And Slater clear the Roosters. Matthew Johns a dummy half. To the right they come with Simpson. Simpson wrestling there, trying to reach out. There's been plenty of tries just like that in recent weeks. Andrew Johns, there's the little kick. To the goal line it comes, the Roosters. They clean up. And Harrigan says second tackle, so a penalty to Sydney City.
He called for Jack Elsgood to play the football, and the Newcastle man came in and pushed him back into the in-goal area. Jason Moody, probably the quickest player on the field, along with Jack Elsgood, and they came together. As you can see there, he just wasn't able to fend off Elsgood because he had the football on that side. And Elsgood again featuring in a try-saving situation, Craigie pushing him back over the try line.
What do you think, Peter? I mean, Elsgood, he was held by Matt Singh, not by a Newcastle player. They were entitled to make a tackle for mine.
I thought it was play on, yes, because if not, he should get up and run the football.
Sterlo, what do you make of this game? It's going backwards and forth. To tell you, it's a very strange game. No one really wants to take it by the grasp and make it their mace. There's 5 minutes to go. Newcastle are behind by 2 points. What do?
Well, it's very entertaining and very exciting, but the one thing that both coaches will be disappointed on is their defence, the one-on-one defence. At this stage of the season, and especially in the games we've featured on our Channel 9 coverage, the defence has just been superb. The likes of the Parramatters and the Brisbanes, but really some of the one-on-one misses here this afternoon, it's not the kind of defence you want to take into quarter-final football.
He's out there for the Roosters. It's Fletcher on the spin. It's a wrestling match every time he gets the ball. They've prevented the offload. Plenty of missed tackles in this match, highlighting Sterlo's point as Lamb fell awkwardly into the tackle of Badderas. He's had some heavy work this afternoon, Adrian Lamb. Fittler's kick, driven low and hard to the 10-metre line. Into the breeze hasn't been all that bad from the Roosters in this first half. In fact, I'm sure it's one of the factors that's probably pleasing their coach Phil Gould as much as any. And Newcastle on their 30. Butterfield running out on the blind side. Seems okay. He was down for a while after that goal line play. Butterfield states his case. And Lomax to ground quickly. Badderas to Matthew Johns. Another cry from Bill Harrigan for David Lomax to stand to play it. Here's Gidley. The battle continues between Gidley and Barnett. Andrew Johns kicking the high ball away for Elsgood's wing. Elsgood attacks the football. Gets straight past one and then up to halfway goes Jack Elsgood. Past Albert and now driven back to the 40-metre line by Andrew Johns. As if to say, fellas, make more of the kicks. Bonetti pushes away from two and then picked up. Andrew Johns. Brad Fittler. Long pass, Matt Singh. He's on the wing, Matt Singh. Almost away from Moody. Hughes over the top. Bailey. Infield for Fletcher. He gets a pass, not all that tight. He lambs away. And Rigon's in support. Here comes Rigon and here comes Albert. Makes the tackle. 5 out. Roosters. Logan. Appo. There's numbers on the left. Johns makes a crucial tackle. He fell off, but he held Appo up long enough.
Andrew Johns, an absolute mile offside. It was almost a sin bin offence.
Bonetti. Harrigan may be playing some advantage. Lamb now kicks across field. He's got Elsgood there. Elsgood takes a 10 out. On the spin. Here's trouble. Newcastle could come up with it. It's pushed back. What's happening here? Fletcher is with it. 20 metres out. Chip over the top from Lyon Fletcher. Moody gets to it. Newcastle back in possession.
Well, you'd like to say it was good defence from Newcastle there, but it's just so flighty at the moment. It's 6s and 7s. If someone's down there injured. I think it's
Jason
Moody.
Moody. Well, this is Adrian Lambs scooting down the middle after scooping the football up. The pass went to Rigon. Another try save from Melbourne. But Andrew Johns, just have a look at him. He's just coming back onside now, yelling on the far side. He doesn't make any effort to go anywhere near back near the try line. He had to be in the bin for that because I think it was a try-saving tackle, almost a professional foul for mine.
But no doubts, watching the replay, it was a professional foul. As professional a foul as you get.
And again, that all started from a poor chase on a kick from Andrew Johns. Jack Elsgood made a heap of ground, and this is the reason for the injury. Some accidental knees from Brian Fletcher into the back of Jason Moody. I think there's about 25 other players who wouldn't mind the fact that he stayed down and got a bit of a rest.
Oh, well, Chief has said it's been funny, it's been a crazy game. That was extraordinary on the last tackle. There was as much chance of a Newcastle try as there was of a Roosters try, the way the ball was being thrown about and on the deck. They got a couple of kicks in that last play as well. Lomax tackled just outside the 30. And with Andrew Johns, here's a chance to kick. Well, that's come off the side of the boot from Andrew Johns. One bounce and over the sideline. And Ryan in the coach's box at 12-10. He's side down by 2. They scored the first try of the match. They scored the third try of the match.
Well, it's going to be very interesting, Andrew, to see the kicking games employed in the second half. Fairly successful one from Andrew Johns, I believe, in the first half, although at times the chase let him down. And Sydney City, they have a very, very good kicking team as well, with Lamb and Fittler in the side.
Well, Peter, Appo kicks, but I'm sure they'll miss Andrew Walker. You talk about 40-20s. He landed 2 against Souths a fortnight ago. And Barnett on the right side of the field. May well be playing fullback right at the moment, Richie Barnett. Fittler's with it, on halfway. Passing back was a high ball there for Logan. That's a long pass from a front rower to Miles. It was Johns-like from the big front rower, Scott Logan. Lang. Infield with Fletcher, and then a quick pass on for Barnhill. His work rate down a little. I'm sure that's a reflection of an injury he is carrying into this match. Fittler is going to send Jack Elsgood on a chase. It's going to bounce up here for Jack Elsgood. Gets it on the toe, but over the sideline. Well, it was on. It was perfectly weighted from Brad Fittler. No dramas about Elsgood being onside.
It was a very slow turn from Jason Moody. He really took his time to turn and chase. Fortunately arrived pretty much at the same time as Elsgood.
Well, the halftime siren sounds and this race for the top 4 intensifies here at Marathon Stadium. Winner will host one of the playoffs the first weekend of the finals. And we go to a break in Sunday football with the Roosters 12 over the Knights 10. Welcome back. Final round of the Premiership at Marathon Stadium. The Roosters, they come here wanting to win, to qualify for the top 4, and they're up by 2 at the halfway mark. 2 tries all in that first half as we take a look at the Mitsubishi match stats.
And I think the most outstanding stat there is the fact that both teams have broken the opponent's line on 5 occasions. This end of the season, in these normally tight matches, that is a large amount. Both teams, funnily enough, have had a pretty good completion rate. Missed tackles way too high, and that is something that both coaches will address at the halftime break. The handling errors also well against the home team. And looking at the work rates, forwards work rates, Danny Badiris leading the way for Newcastle. That's no surprise. He doesn't have much time on the sideline. In fact, he was probably there for the full 40. And the hit-ups led by Clinton O'Brien, who started the game very, very strongly. Well, for the Roosters, Simon Benetti, the opposing hooker, also has 17 tackles next to his name. Ricketson, a workaholic. Brian Fletcher missed an early tackle, but again, he's been strong in both departments.
And the flag sellers have done well again this afternoon at Marathon Stadium. Full house. If Newcastle win, they'll get another home match before the year is out. That will be next Friday night. First week of the playoffs. So even more reason to win. Ready then in Sunday football to get this final 40 minutes underway as we launch into the finals. The Roosters come back with Logan. High missed tackle counts for both teams from the first half, but on a few occasions they came in clusters in the one passage of play, 2 and 3 missed tackles. Here's Benetti for the Roosters, has run a few times in the match with great effect. And the Roosters, having conceded the early try, Matthew Johns went over in the first 5 minutes. They really did hang in well, running into a stiff breeze in that first half. Let's see what they use of it. Fittler stepped over the 40-metre line to get that kick in. Craigie may not have been aware of that and had to attack the football and runs it back to the 30-metre line. And gives us a chance to go to the sideline. Steve Roach, the news from the Roosters camp.
Yeah, we've got Paul Langmack from Sydney City side. Paul, what was said at half-time? I suppose Gus would be happy being in front going into the breeze in the first half.
He was happy, but he mentioned last week how we were ahead at half-time against St George, and we lost the game last week. So this week it's all about territory, and if we can win the territory game, we hopefully have a good chance of winning. Well, both sides didn't really dominate in defence. A lot of one-on-one misses. Was that mentioned? No, not really. We forgot. We just got to keep it simple, mate. Play down their end. If we can play down their end, we're going to win. I suppose the big positive to come out at half-time is that first half. When you got down there, you were able to score. Yeah, certainly we were. But like I said, last week we surrendered a lead in the second half against St George, and hopefully we won't do it this week. All right, Paul. Thanks very much for your time. Thanks, mate. I'll just do the chief. You've had an ear in the Knights dressing room. Here's another break from Matt Singh. Leave it up to you, blokes.
To halfway. Yes, Paul Harrigan. He had the trench coat on at half-time and the dark glasses in the Newcastle room as Fletcher has tackled 40 metres out. We'll hear from Paul in a moment. Benetti, they attack the Roosters with Logan and has the ball stripped. Well, was that one-on-one? He's been penalised. And a bit of a push between Shields and Logan. Two of the big men. They shape up the two heavyweights.
Well, I'm wondering whether Scott Logan was touched by another Newcastle player before Peter Shields got involved. It's the only thing that I could... Matt Singh makes the bust. Again, some awful defence. And when we see a penalty going against Newcastle, well, that's the end of play. There's obviously only one in the tackle there, Peter Shields, but I'm not sure whether Danny Buderus actually touched Scott Logan at any time.
Well, they already have called held for Paul Harrigan. The Roosters have opted to go for goal here with Appo. The story in the Knights room at half-time.
Yeah, Ron Ryan was obviously upset with the one-on-one misses in defence. To combat that, he wants Newcastle to compress their defence so there's no holes there. And that was obvious from the first set. They were very compressed in defence. Also, he's upset with the fact that under pressure with the ball, we elected to go sideways and try and offload instead of just going forward and setting a platform. And he also mentioned that Sydney City from dummy half are causing us plenty of problems. But all in all, he was confident at the second half that they could do the job.
There's been a few clean breaks in this match. It's really added to the excitement of the game. Sure, both coaches would be a little concerned about the defence, but it's good to watch. And Appo has this kick with a breeze over his left shoulder. He's kicking from 38 metres out. He's probably never had a reception like this for a shot at goal ever. You'd think he's the world's most unpopular man right at the moment. Appo kicking for a 4-point lead. The kick off the boot, it's there from Appo. Well, hasn't he risen to the occasion? Graham Appo, 14-10 to the Roosters over the Knights.
He could be very valuable not only this afternoon for the Roosters, but in the coming weeks. An accomplished goal kicker, as that one shows. And Andrew Maid mentioned the fact he scored 24 points on a couple of occasions for Adelaide. In only 14 matches, he averaged something like 10 points a game, and that is Daryl Halligan's statistics. Oh, high shot there by Shields. Guess who it was on?
Shields on Logan. Pongia. To complete the Appo story, he actually suffered a serious knee injury pre-season, and right at the time, it was in the trials, they thought he'd be out for the year. So that is commitment to chip away, to do all the rehabilitation and get back on the field. And he's been rewarded today. First game in the top grade at the Roosters.
And as Fittler early in the tackle count looks for a 40-20, and
he's going to get it all right. He has found it, Brad Fittler. Not just in the 20, in fact, inside the 10.
I mentioned Andrew Johns' inch perfect in the first half. This one's even better. And that was about third or fourth tackle, so it didn't allow the winger Jason Moody to get back in time. Great start the second half for the Roosters. And we have said there's a lot of line breaks in this game, one-on-one missed tackles. Maybe we should give a bit of a rap to the ability in getting through those tackles as well, the players' ability in making the bust.
With the crucial first 5 minutes, Sydney City have certainly upped the tempo, quick play the balls, and here they go now for a shift off the scrum.
Taken across field there by Craigie. They're on the Newcastle 20. Appo spins from dummy half for Barnhill. And he just lumbers forward into a three-man tackle. They can't get him to ground, though. Benetti then for Logan. Picking up. He may have had a rev up at half-time. Pongia scores his first try for the year. Quentin Pongia, thank you very much.
He's happy.
One front rower to another. And Pongia scores 18-10.
And like we saw in the first half, the 40-20 again proving to be so crucial. A wonderful kick from Fittler. And Scott Logan, he's missed a fair bit of this season through injury. He's been rushed pretty much back into the side by Phil Gould, into the starting lineup. And on this occasion, through the tackle of Peden and Matthew Johns, two men not able to stop the football being passed. And Quentin Pongia combining with his front row man to score a vital try in the opening minutes of the second half.
Yeah, that was a great run. Used his weight, a good right arm offload, and Quentin Pongia. It's good to see a front row score a try. Look at this, surges through, gets the right arm free, looks, and Johnny on the spot. You never know. Front rower, great try. And certainly Scott Logan, with the size and the impact he has on the line, should be doing that more often because it's a great talent.
Oh, he'll know the importance of that short of the team. But on a personal note, he's exited from a club at the Roosters, the No Try Club. Benetti, Logan, Barnhill, and until today, Pongia. None of them had scored a try this year. Pongia's out of it. He's scored. He's on the board.
Jason Lowry also shattered.
Oh, poor old Jason. Jason Lowry, Tigers prop, yet to score a try in his career.
But it was obvious, as I said before, in the crucial first 5 or 10 minutes, Sydney City came out with fire. They played the balls, were super quick, and it just made the difference. And I thought that Newcastle honestly would come out and set the pace, but it's been a disappointing first 8 minutes for the Knights.
This is as meticulous a routine as you'll see from a goal kicker, Graham Appo. He is showing a very cool head here against this vocal Newcastle crowd. Well, he's fallen off the mound once. Was off ruled by Bill Harrigan. Handy break this. Not unlike last week where they jumped to a 10-point lead after half-time. Only to be run down, Appo. 20 in from touch and 19 out. He's missed one. Graham Appo. And the lead is 8. In Sunday football, the Roosters over the Knights. So more than a converted try for Newcastle behind. 48 minutes gone. And Andrew Johns is back underway. Logan's part in the lead up to that try. Oh, look at that from Butterfield. On Scott Logan, a veteran and a relative newcomer. And Pongia tackled. Watch this one. Pongia got smashed in the first half. And that time it was Logan. And now the Blues up. As the Roosters, Logan wants more. Oh, O'Brien went on the chase. And his target certainly wasn't low. Fittler got the kick away from inside the 40 again. Craigie has to trap it with a boot. It was probably headed for inside the 20 again. They're under assault, the men at the back for Newcastle. Fittler will pepper them with kicks. It was a hard ball for Hughes to take. In fact, Peden, who is wrapped up there by Benetti. And here's O'Brien. His stats good. Double figures for hit-ups and tackles. Clinton O'Brien. Rudder heads across field, contained by Benetti. On halfway, Badderas, Matthew Johns. Knights chance go up at Marathon Stadium. Gidley, that magical flick for Albert. 30 out, last tackle. Matthew Johns' first receiver. Now his brother, Andrew, 30 out. Centerfield bomb, it's worth another go. This is high. This will hit the blimp, this kick. It comes down, it's picked up Big Shields. He got there quicker than anyone. And then back and lost by Rudder. And away goes Appo. And Appo back to the 20-metre line. Fletcher. And the cut-out ball. This is enterprising play from the Roosters. Miles on the end. It's on the fastest man in the Newcastle side, Darren Albert. And Miles is the quickest at the Roosters. Ricketson to halfway. His side up by 8 points. Looking to qualify for the first week of the finals in 4th position. He's ruled knock on against the Roosters. In 27,000 Novocastrians, they agree with Harrigan 100%. No drama.
Well, I think he did lose it cold, Luke Ricketson. But he probably had an argument that he was being held down in the tackle, although I think he's trying to milk a penalty there.
Passes wide there for Craigie. A little skip from Owen Craigie inside the Roosters half. Moody. It's an exciting play from Jason Moody in the first half, both in attack and defence. Some chases. Badderas blindside Shields. Handled well in defence there by little Adrian Lamb. Probably smallest player on the field, on the tallest. Matthew Johns and Andrew. The run around, there's play here. Mark Hughes, they say go Newcastle, then Gidley. Into ground in the Fittler tackle, 15 out. They're 8 points down, Newcastle. Andrew Johns, centre field, Lomax. Inside the 10, but it is the 5th tackle. Andrew Johns, a flat pass, back inside, Badderas. Risky ball, Matthew Johns, it's 2 on 2. Gidley, Albert's on his outside, fielded there. They keep it going with Craigie. And that will be a changeover.
Brad Fittler did very well there, but the long cutout pass, high cutout pass allowed Fittler to get across. I still think the better option was close instead of going wide once again, as the Roosters now take the pressure off through Pongia, take it outside 20. A game you would imagine that Fittler won't wait till the last to kick.
It was a good set by Newcastle, probably the best so far in the first 10 minutes, but yeah, just good to see him doing a couple of set moves and settling down a little bit, even though that last play was terrible. And Eastern Suburbs now still on the attack on the 40-metre line.
Around Lamb and Singh, and Mills good, he's trapped, gets out of the cage, the red and blue cage it was, and then passes back for Benetti. He was prepared to concede a little bit of ground. Elsgood will eventually get a result for his team. Fittler kicks from short of halfway. He's driven it to the corner. This is perfectly placed, but not perfectly weighted. It dribbles over the touch-in goal line by just a metre. And Newcastle thankfully walk back to the 20. There wasn't much in it. Knights led this one by 10 points to 6 at one stage. And here's Newcastle. Badderas almost forward there to Butterfield. Gets over the advantage line. There's claimed by Hood outside the 40. Another flat pass there from Badderas for Rudder. They swing in there. The tackle affected by Barnett. Wasn't high, but the swinging motion on Fletcher had a few oohs and ahs from the crowd. Andrew Johns to ground he goes in the rig on tackle. Last play here for the Knights. Matthew Johns, they're chancing their hand with these high balls. Appo. Oh, he's having a fine game, Graham Appo. Into the 30.
Gee, there's a lack of urgency in the Newcastle kicking game. The chases, I mean. Like Graham Appo, he had a really easy catch on that football. And I just think that they don't react particularly well after the kick's been completed as well. Every now and then, they just don't have players in position, and if Sydney City go wide, there's a real chance.
Well, still, I wanted to ask Blocker that same thing, because from up here, the body language of Newcastle seems like they're very tired. Is that the same from the sideline, Block?
Yeah, I just think it's the way that they play the game. They, you know, really chance their hand on a number of occasions as Ricketson
well,
makes
hang on a second, Blocker, because Appo's away and loses it. As if passing to Craigie. And now Craigie's away. Barnhill's coming across. Fletcher gets him on halfway. Well, the Roosters were just 10 metres away from scoring, and then Craigie had designs of running 80 metres. Rudder passes there for Hughes, then for Moody. Inside the 20, away goes Jason Moody. Well, their heads may have been down, but they're all up again now. Jason Moody scores the try. Chief does a dance, and it's 18-14.
Oh, what a game of football. An absolute corker here. If you like flowing, attacking rugby league, then you're seeing the very best that is too often. Graham Appo, he's almost past this football. to Owen Craigie. They look certain to score once again. Albert, he must be getting sick and tired of coming across making try-saving tackles. Craigie high-stepping through some awful defence once again. Fletcher did a good job. And then as they came to the left, you can see here they've really got numbers. Matthew Johns realises that. Throws a dummy past there. If we freeze it there, you can see that Mark Hughes is on the fly. And just watch how quickly this man passes to Jason Moody. I thought they'd keep Moody on the outside as play continues, but he comes back on the inside, and that was probably the key element to that try. It took them unawares. Ricketson couldn't react quickly enough. Neither could Barnhill. And Jason Moody got a try to get Newcastle back into this, because if the Roosters had scored next, the game was over.
Bit of commitment on show here from David Barnhill. Sure, he misses the tackle on Moody. He was leading the chase for Craigie. The 30-year-old, David Barnhill. Johns with a kick. Back they come, the Newcastle Knights. The red and blue. The Army. 18 points to 16. Stats of time left. End-to-end play from the Knights and the Roosters. Back at Marathon. 56 minutes gone and a 2-point ball game. The race for the top four. It's never been better, has it, than what we've experienced over the past month? This frantic jostling for positions in the top 8 and the top 4.
Chief Glenn Grief, only minimum use in this match, and unfortunately has made an error after coming into the game.
Yeah, I know, knowing Glenn, he won't be very happy with that. He likes to get a run, and it's hard with rotation. It's just the way the game is now, but he certainly likes to get out there, and he'll be disappointed with this. Looks like he's lost control of the ball playing it.
Like Dallas Hood, his hand was in there and pushed it out, don't worry.
Adrian Lamb from this scrum win. There were plenty of players to the left. Ended up taking the tackle of Peden. And here's Benetti, 30 metres out. Just a little disorganised there, the Roosters on the second play. Four of the blokes looking round at each other. Now they straighten up with Barnhill. And that is 3 tackles gone, without really putting a great deal of pressure on Newcastle. Lamb inside, Fletcher. Fletcher, through he goes Fletcher, then Fittler. The 2 Fs, 2 of the best in the game. Fletcher for Fittler, and the captain has his second.
And another mistake is punished. This time, unfortunately, Glenn Grief losing possession here. I do think that there was a Roosters hand in here that becomes involved just there. And then they come to the right-hand side. I think you'll find that one of the Newcastle players loses his footing. We freeze it there. In fact, it was Danny Badiris. He went down. By the time he got back up, the damage had been done and Fletcher had slipped through. I think he could have scored himself, but he made a bird of it by drawing Craigie and putting it on a platter for Fittler.
Yeah, well, as you can just see here, Brian Fletcher, a great athlete, surges through, makes a break there. But these tries have been, well, I wouldn't say against the run of play, but while the other team has the ascendancy and just making the most of it, it seems like the opposition scores, and Freddie Fittler's very happy there because he knows the score 22-16 with a kick to come in front. With about 22 minutes to go, his side's looking very good at the moment.
Wayne Mack with a bit to say. Can I just ask you, Chief, right at the moment, is this the toughest you've done it since you retired, watching a match like this?
It's pretty tough. The St George game was a tough one. I nearly jumped the fence then, but yeah, it's just when it's so close and it's back to forth, and you can see some of the obvious things from sitting up in the box that the boys should do. It is hard.
We'll go to Blocker in a moment, who's watching this one unfold. Right in front. Well, the crowd boo him. He seems to have made an art form of getting the ball to drop off the mound. I'm sure it's not deliberate. I think it's happened with every kick he's had today. Just eats up a bit of time. Harrigan has called time off now for the second aim up of Graham Appo. Right in front. And this for an 8-point lead too. Regained that 8-point lead, which they held after half-time. And only his 35th first-grade game, Graham Appo bangs that one over. And 8 it is, the margin. 24-16. I don't think the scoring's over yet, Block.
What a great fan of Brian Fletcher's I am. How good is it to have the advantage of having a ball player? He can sniff that they've held off him. And look at Fittler loom up. Beautiful positioning. Scores the try. They're a classy outfit, the Roosters.
F-Troop, Fletcher and Fittler. Ricketson. It wasn't a deep kickoff from Newcastle. Here's Bonetti with Logan, growing in confidence. He had quite a lengthy stint before making his comeback last week from a fractured cheekbone. Followed up here by Singh. They may even contemplate a kick well before the last here. Bonetti, no, they run it with Pongia. Fittler was certainly back and in position to get away a 40-20. And now he will kick, but it's just a metre inside his own half. Craigie takes it on the full. Owen Craigie. There's that skip. At that time, not effective as Fletcher and Bonetti wait. Bonetti, 25 tackles now. Highest from either side. In fact, the two hookers are going tackle for tackle. Badderis and Bonetti. Newcastle on their 30. With Lomax. He went to Auckland last week, looking to further his claims for test selection later this year for the Tri-Series, which we'll have covered here on Channel 9. Came away as part of a side on a 42-0 hiding. Johns, then Matthew. Andrew back with it. Long ball, as long as you'll see, for Moody, who gets it on the chest and now gets to halfway, but gathered in there by Singh. A hard man to beat. Last tackle, Andrew Johns kicks low and for the corner with Elsgood up in the line. Good bounce from Andrew Johns. Appo's there. The Newcastle chase. It's a straight line and they get him inside the 10. He's been close to faultless today, Graham Appo. They're keeping him under the thumb. Maybe they still think there's a mistake in him. First game in the top grade this year. In with Rigon. Upended in the Fletcher tackle. And land this time for Barnett. And there's some vigorous defence from Andrew Johns. This time it's Fletcher who runs. And he gets hammered by Simpson. 5 tackles. They haven't made it back to the 30. Fittler. He wants the Spinnaker up on this kick. It's not that big. It was touched, in fact. And bounced up for Craigie. Fittler led the chase. Then away for Albert. Is there trouble here? No, Albert tackled on the 40. Gidley. Running the blind. Claimed by the marker Singh.
Also Richie Barnett, who was offside. I saw that as Glenn Grief takes it over the halfway line. It's a dusty ball away. It's cleaned up by, yes, Newcastle. And the referee said not touched by a Rooster player, so that's the 3rd tackle. Fletcher on the 4th.
And he gets it inside the Roosters' half. Yes, then Matthew Johns straight away putting the foot down. Scored a solo try in the first half. Upended there. Pongia and Wood, they got him a little off balance. Credit that he was able to retain possession. Johns kicks a little deeper this time. And Appo, he seemed to lose it there, Graham Appo. It won't matter because it's gone by a matter of centimetres over the dead ball line.
Get them all onside first.
And Nathan Wood starts play again quickly. Ricketson with Barnett. Roosters up by 8. Winner to host a final next Friday night. Should Parramatta complete a win over South Sydney today. And here's Nathan Wood. And the Albert tackle, able to pass for Rigon. He's away from Andrew Johns. Falling on halfway. Roosters keep the push on here with Lamb. Lamb almost through, then passes. Good play, Adrian Lamb in the Grief tackle. First qualifying final we'll have for you from 8:30 next Friday night. And Fittler. We'll be back here if Newcastle can muster a comeback. 20 metres out and last tackle. Logan almost lost it in getting to his feet. It's back to Appo. Field goal time. Appo's kick. Well, it's straight enough, not high enough from Graham Appo. A little odd at 24-16.
Very unusual. 8 points to 9 points. Really compute. You would think when there's 6 or 12 in front that that's the desired option. And a lovely shot there showing the football just falling under the crossbar.
Newcastle coming out of trouble. And trouble it is. Down by 8. Inside the final quarter of the match. Rudder held up by Fletcher. This has been a very strong game from Brian Fletcher, playing with injury today. And no doubt he's not 100%. Crowd 25,000 in excess of that. Matthew Johns. And then, well, Ricketson will be penalised here, tackling the player without the ball. He took Fletcher out. And I don't mean on a date, he took him out on the tackle. 45 metres out, Newcastle get the penalty. It's Ricketson on Fletcher you'll be looking for. He came across and claims him high.
Here's this game. The last two sets, both teams have completed. They've settled down a little bit, started a bit of an arm wrestle. I just think Newcastle need to complete their set. Don't worry about scoring, just get it out the road with a good kick. And they just build that platform one more time.
Shields, again he got an awkward ball, the big bloke. He'll have a sore back at the end of this match. Rudder, 25 out, long ball to the right with Gidley. Here's a man who can cause problems. He's inside the 20, Matthew Gidley. He's a player who hasn't tasted a grand final. He missed the 97 grand final through injury, Gidley. Matthew Johns running, looking for a passage through. Tackle 10 out. Pongia underneath. Logan over the top. Rudder. Andrew Johns. Long ball on the outside, put down by Gidley. Roosters, desperation to get to it. Brad Fittler. They're penalised for inside the 10, in fact.
It's against you, Brad.
Well, I'll tell you what, Newcastle have got to start backing up. There was two good opportunities in that set of six and no one was there. I think they've really got to start backing up the end, particularly Andrew Johns. There's always something going on when he's got the ball in his hand.
24-16 they trail. Shields takes them on and slips it back to ground. Rudder then up with Craigie. Peden ran inside, then missed by Hughes. Well, Hughes put it down. Simpson pulled his hands away, and a real catastrophe there for Newcastle on the first.
Yeah, not just because they made a mistake on the first tackle. I was a little bit surprised they didn't kick for goal. 8 behind, would have put them a converted try behind. And again, I suppose that a draw probably doesn't serve Newcastle maybe as well as it does Sydney City if that was the case. And the handling errors against Newcastle more than 2-1.
Well, probably shows the mentality of both sides. Sydney City elected to go for the field goal because they're feeling comfortable, and Newcastle feeling they're under pressure.
Fittler and Barnett. Nathan Wood has just headed to the bench again. Benetti running back out for the Roosters as Pongia. Very strong. A comment from Steve on the efforts of the front rowers today. It has been a platform with Pongia and Logan getting back to their best form. They've both missed football lately. Pongia under suspension and Logan through injury. Here's Fittler kicking from outside the 30. They've done a good job. It was Shields who got a hand to it. Look at Barnhill. He runs through. Fleet of foot from Barnhill. Didn't get to it, but got to Craigie. Well, maybe Barnhill was looking to break his duck in the try-scoring stakes here. Shields is the man who gets his hand to it. And look at Barnhill suddenly freshened up like he's in his first game of first grade. Swing around in the tackle. Craigie injured. We will pause. 14 remaining with Owen Craigie down. And 8 points the difference here at Marathon Stadium.
Canberra 32, Melbourne 14. Auckland 38, West 16.
24-16. Concern for Craigie. Back here at Marathon Stadium, and just looks on the bench from Clinton O'Brien. I don't think he'll be the bloke going to fullback if Craigie comes off. You know, and Craigie may have played his last football in this match.
Yes, this would be a blow for the Knights because they need their best attacking players out there, and he's taken a heavy knock from David Barnhill. Just having a quick look at the ladder, the way that it sits at the moment, really a draw, absolutely no good to the Newcastle Knights, so it's not a surprise that they didn't take a kick for goal.
Well, here is the story. 24-16, 13 minutes remaining, and the Knights lose one of their key troops, Owen Craigie. Really ginger on that left leg coming off. Young Owen. Ready then for the restart. And Badderas up with Butterfield.
And just repeating, a draw is no good to Newcastle this afternoon. It would be equivalent to a loss, really, so sure we won't be seeing them taking kicks at goal as they keep the ball alive. They need to score tries. Peter Shields He's swamped by Rigon and Fittler on the 40-metre line.
It was the Glenn Grief offload that started that movement. And beginners for Matthew Johns. Then Andrew running at Barnhill, puts a bit of pressure on young Simpson. Lamb makes the tackle. He's been more effective in the front line this week, Adrian Lamb. I was a little critical of him last week against St George Illawarra. He missed a few. And he's made some good tackles today, Adrian Lamb. In field for Andrew Johns. Benetti rushed up at him. They've really tried this high ball a lot in this second half. It's allowed to bounce by Barnett. He had it covered. Miles ends up with it, and Albert ends up with him. Barnett comes away, and almost to the 40-metre line. He is tackled a second time, and there is a penalty.
Not letting go straight away, Tony.
Yeah, with Owen Craigie going off, and if he doesn't come back on today, it will stretch Newcastle because they've got 4 forwards on the bench, and you can see Sean Rudder is on the wing, so that's a vulnerable position there for Newcastle at the moment.
We'll block the latest on Owen Craigie.
Yeah, it's a problem with his hip. He's in with the doctor at the moment. And just getting back to the comment you were making about the Roosters' front row, I don't know whether it's perfect timing by the Roosters or just good luck for them, but to have Pongia and Logan back a couple of weeks before the semi-finals and playing as strong as they are is a big bonus.
14 hit-ups from Pongia, his 14th just moments ago. Barnhill follows him. They're inside the Newcastle half. Here's Lamb jinking away again. Rickettson's pass was hard, put down by Fittler, fielded by Appo. Knock on against Sydney City. In fact, the touch judge coming in here for a challenge on perhaps Ricketson there. This could well be a Sydney City penalty.
It's a penalty, all right.
Hey, Andrew, we want number 7. Don't say anything, mate, just listen to it.
Well, well and truly gone. Number 7's coming in, taking out the East player after he's got rid of the ball. It's a late tackle.
Okay, now the mark is here. Okay, hey, wait. That's trivial, Bill. It's doing his job. He caught it. Andrew, let it be. All right, penalty's here.
We heard Tony Butterfield say that's trivial, Bill. Oh, yeah.
No, hang on, that can't be what the penalty was for, surely. I didn't even think it was Andrew Johns who made the tackle.
It was Steve Simpson who made that tackle, and there's only a split second in it. I'd like to think that wasn't the case for the penalty.
Well, if it was the case, it's a disgraceful decision by the touch judge.
Appo's decided to go for goal from 40 out.
Let's just have a look. I'm sure that the penalty is for the tackle on Ricketson. He goes back inside. He runs to the defender.
No, it's for the previous play, you'll find. It was Lamb, the tackle on Lamb.
Oh, okay.
And there is some justification for that.
Well, I do apologise to the touch judge.
And it's Andrew Johns on Lamb.
Yeah, well, I can live with that one. Once again, I do apologise.
But still, it is close. It's all in the game.
Appo wants another kick. And 39 metres out. He's only 5 or 6 metres off centre. Again, there was time off while he lined up the kick, Graham Appo. Some sort of precedent has been set here today with that. Seems totally oblivious to the crowd. As if he's kicking in the park, Graham Appo. He strikes this one. It's on its way. It's on its way. Unsuccessful and not dead. And back they come with Hughes. Newcastle, they're still in the ball game. 8 the difference. Winner to host a final in the first week of the playoffs. Would there be any more incentive than that? O'Brien, the loser, almost faces a sudden death situation straight away if results go against you the first week.
Can I throw a piece of trivia at you as well?
I'd love you to.
Every premier in the 90s, apart from 93 when Brisbane won it, is Newcastle again opened them up out wide. Hughes is through, he's got Gidley coming on the inside, can't get the ball to him. Appo comes up with a try saver. I'll leave it till later, Andrew.
Oh, suspense. Albert, 15 metres out, now to the 10-metre line. He is tackled over the top, and it was a changeover.
That set move that Newcastle used just then has been used last three times, and it's worked 3 times out of 3. It's a great little move, opens up there, and Hughes, young Hughesy, great pace. Unfortunately, couldn't link up with support, but they've got to keep doing more of that.
Peter, you were saying?
Barnett did really well too to get on the inside between the passer and Matthew Gidley. In the 90s, we've had 10 premiers. That's including 2 competition winners in 97. All but one occasion, the premier has won their last competition game. Brisbane in '93 got beaten, but in all other occasions they won their last game in the domestic rounds.
There's a stat. Fittler kicks. It's a bit like preparation for a Melbourne Cup. Just looking at their run on the Saturday before the Tuesday. You're liking to have a good run. There's a tackle that will find Julian Bailey in all sorts of trouble. It was as if he was playing a game of Twister there. He had the red circle and the blue circle, and he put his foot on both and was penalised. He's like a big octopus over the top, Julian Bailey. All the penalty count. Never all that hefty when Bill Harrigan's in charge. And Badera's up for Butterfield. He crashes to the 30-metre line. Well, this is the championship round, isn't it, now? Lomax. He almost gets to the 20. Barnhill applies almost a headlock in defence. Badera's back in Matthew, and then Andrew Johns floating across field. Big Shields again had to stoop forward. Andrew Johns on the Roosters 20. O'Brien runs across field and handled again well by David Barnhill. Here's a dummy half in front of the Roosters post now. Matthew Johns showed inside, then on the outside with Gidley. Headed back infield. Jinks past 3 and tackled. Last play here for Newcastle. Andrew Johns up on the left. Here he is with a left arm. Fielded there by Matt Singh. Didn't get a good ball, Andrew Johns. And the Roosters are back with it. Peter Shields was taken out. He took a while to get back to his feet on that play.
What about the take from Andrew Johns? The pass from dummy half. And we do have Owen Craigie back on the field. Slotted back into fullback as Peter Shields comes up with a beauty on the number 15, Dallas Hood.
Lamb over the 20, first division today. A win to the Newcastle Knights over the Roosters, 26-14. And Fittler kicking downfield, that left foot. He's looking for a 40-20. It's a little straight for that. Craigie, well, he's back out there. He must have got a new leg. Here's Albert. He's almost back to the 40-metre line. He has got some heavy strapping on the left thigh, and he is inconvenienced. It's courageous effort from Owen Craigie. Andrew Johns driven across field. It's Hughes and back on the inside for O'Brien. It's been a good straight running affair. The contest between the front rowers today. There's Butterfield. In fact, thinking about it, it's been one of the highlights. O'Brien and Butterfield, Logan and Pongia, they're running. And there's Lomax. He has trampled Benetti. Benetti is down. The Roosters are down to 12. Matthew Johns, Simon Benetti in all sorts of trouble. And then Hughes, he passes inside for Rudder, and he's collected from behind by Rigon.
Last tackle, numbers to the right.
And here it comes, Andrew Johns, he goes it alone, he's lost it. The Roosters are with it. And there's terrible strife here for Benetti as the Roosters come away from their own goal line.
Yeah, that was an inspirational run there by Lomax. Set the rest of the setup then. Unfortunately, Andrew Johns couldn't go through it, but that was a terrific run. Look at him, here he goes, surging forward, and Benetti just left there. I think he knocked him out cold, a great run.
And Andrew Johns is in big trouble now, and I think it may well be the groin too that's troubling him. He's headed for the bench, Andrew Johns. Well, this match, it turns. Roosters still lead by 8. Fittler's kick for Rigon. Needs a bounce and gets it. Then it comes away for Wood. Now for Ricketson. Ricketson running like a centre. Ricketson scores for the Roosters. Ricketson has scored. The Roosters, they'll go to the video ref, but they are through to the top 4, one would think.
Yeah, this will be a try, and a well-constructed try, and Brad Fittler, he is ecstatic, and it was his vision in the kick that set it up. This is Ricketson, who was a former centre. Well, hang on, have I gone off too early once again? I'm learning some serious lessons here.
I think he's there.
I think he's there. The first reaction was that he was there. I think it'll be a green light. But a great kick from Brad Fittler, deliberately again for Shane Rigon. Nat Wood, a lovely take. It was a tough pass for him to take. He got it on to Luke Ricketson immediately. The ball touches the line there. I think it's millimetres okay.
And that's all it is, Peter. It's millimetres. His right arm hasn't come into touch with the corner post when it appeared that the ball lands on the white stripe.
Yeah, remember at home it only has to touch the white line, the football. And it's getting very close to doing that. I think it does so there. And again, looking at the reactions of the players, the Roosters are extremely confident. The Knights, they're hoping against hope that it will be a red light here.
Pete, can I just say, if he awarded the try in the first half, he has to give this one, the video referee? Would that be fair comment?
I tend to think so, yeah. I think, well, he has awarded it. And it is a match winner. And Newcastle so close at scoring at the other end, probably squandered an opportunity. If he frees it there, you can just see that Shane Rigon on the inside was the man that Fittler was kicking for. Good take from Wood. And Ricketson, well, I don't think he's been off the field this afternoon. I think he's one of the forwards in the NRL competition who probably doesn't get an interchange at all. And he's running on legs that he carried on in the first minute. No fatigue there at all. He knows the importance. Great shot there, the strain. Looking at the man coming across in Jason Moody, down low and slides across.
Joy for Luke Ricketson. So back to be top or first try scorer on Sports Tab. I don't suppose you get it for seventh, do you?
No, I don't think so. And Chief, it's been one of those kind of games where, as I say, only moments earlier, Newcastle could have got across the line and we might have had a fairy tale finish from then once again. But within moments, we're at the other end converting a try.
Yeah, as I said before, talking about strange games, there's been no more than this. It's, you know, just when Sydney City have been attacking Newcastle's line, we've found a break and scored down the other end against the run of play. And it's been both. But it's, if you call it semi-final football or build up to semi-final football, I think it's as far away as you can get from semi-final football, where it's a grafting match. You build for the win. You pretty well know who's on top for most of the match. But this game's been all over the place. It's been a funny one, but looks like Sydney City have got away with it, and it's been a good win for them.
And Andrew, you'll be happy the ball did fall off the mound there just once.
Amazing. Graham Appo, here's his kick from out wide. Doesn't appear to have a really strong boot. Graham Appo. And Steve Roach will watch this try again of Luke Ricketson and the build-up.
Just watch Freddie Fittler organising that for Rigon. This is great play from Sydney City. The bounce of the ball favourable that time, but they're still full of running. Only 5 minutes left. And didn't he do well, Ricketson, to score that try in the end, albeit a little bit controversial, but they got the try anyway. Just a quick one on Simon Bonetti. He's in all sorts of trouble on the sideline. He won't be back. He's got concussion.
On the regather there for the Roosters. He had a bit of trouble when he hit the deck there. Here's Bailey, picked up and thrown down on the 40-metre line. So we start to look towards the first weekend of the playoffs now, and we can basically confirm that it'll be Sydney City versus Canterbury at the Sydney Football Stadium Friday night, first week of the playoffs, 4th versus 5th. And Newcastle are looking at a match next Saturday night against Parramatta.
Watch out, Stella. They're coming for you.
Well, that's a good thing. You are coming to us.
Here's Williams' kick. And it is deep for the corner. Fielded by Craigie. We'll explain too for the Newcastle fans, you will have read a bit about the McIntyre final system, but Newcastle could still afford to lose next Saturday night and be in contention if 7th, St George Illawarra, and 8th, Brisbane lose. They would still be in contention. But I don't think you want to drop a game when you're in the bottom 4.
No, just going a touch further, the bottom line is that 2 teams will definitely exit this weekend. And they will basically be the 2 lowest placed losers.
Hopefully you're all clear on that at home. As Matthew John attacking with Hughes and then away for Moody. Here's a nice challenge. Singh gets him. There's been so many good matchups in this game. Matthew John, long pass. Fielded there by Badiris. He's 40 metres out. The ball was knocked out. Fielded now by Rigon. And Rigon's away and only Butterfield chasing. Well, this is over. Rigon is home here. No one's even going to touch him. Rigon scores. The Roosters can really celebrate now. A runaway try for the replacement centre.
Yeah, it's a shame too, because the score certainly not reflecting the competition we've had this afternoon between these two teams. There was a chance for Newcastle once again. The pass from Matthew Johns, that was magnificent. It was 3-on-1. If Badiris had passed the football, the ball was knocked out. Shane Rigon picked it up, beat Billy Peden and Tony Butterfield. There was never going to be a chance of getting anywhere near Shane Rigon. A couple of late tries just blowing the score out in this match.
Yeah, as you can see here, Shane Rigon picks the ball up. He's got great strength. And I'll tell you what, all credit must go to Gus Gould. This has been an important game. He's great at conditioning his players for the mental side of the game. And with this big crowd, they weren't overawed. They played terrifically. And look at Shane striding out here to make it to a big score. It's 32-16 now, and he's very happy. And they'll go into the semi-finals very confidently.
Andrew, talking about not being overawed too, the Sydney City Roosters are one team that travel very well. They actually have a very good record away from home.
They've won, well, this will be 9 out of 12 of their away games this year, Sydney City. You said that at the start of the year, you'll win 75% of your games. You'd expect to be minor premiers. Steve Roach.
Yeah, well, both sides are really good at the turnover, aren't they? Any mistake making by a team, they will take advantage of it. And Rigon there, I'm not sure that he didn't knock that ball forward or pulled it out of the tackle. But good luck to him. He gets to try, and look at the smile on his face. As you said, the scoreline has blown out, but it has been a contest.
Jason Moody restarts play, and Adrian Lamb back with Ricketson. Upended in the tackle. Part of the coaching staff, if you like, is Brett Ogle. He teaches them how to play the sand shots from 100 metres into the green. But they do appreciate his enthusiasm as well, Brett Ogle. Here's Barnhill. Oh, he was almost away, David Barnhill. It would have been put the glasses down for at least 20 metres of that scamper.
Yeah, interesting. With 50 seconds to go, Sydney City still looking for the gap. It was a great line. And you can see Gus Gould very happy. He knows his sides had a big day today. It is a big crowd. It was a big match. And they've lifted. And that's exactly what you need going into the semi-final series. And the season in general has been a superb one. And the semi-final series looks like being sensational itself.
We'll have it all here. Big week of sport yet again. The US Tennis Open starts tomorrow night. So keep an eye for all the action from there. Flushing Meadows, Rafter chasing a third straight title. Here's Newcastle on the attack, 10 metres out. Matthew Johns in for Simpson. He is 5 metres out. By the way, those matchups we're saying for next week are under the assumption that Parramatta have beaten Souths this afternoon. And Newcastle held up in the last play at Marathon Stadium for the year. Crowd in excess of 25,000. And their heroes have gone down today as the Roosters have qualified for the top 4. Sydney City 34, Newcastle 16.